Two people with the same ability enter the same room. One is listened to immediately, the other is quietly tested. Nothing has been said yet, no results have been shown. Yet the hierarchy is already forming. Who gets patience? Who gets interrupted? Who is allowed uncertainty without consequence? These decisions happen faster than effort can register, faster than intelligence can prove itself. If outcomes are being shaped before performance begins, what exactly is being evaluated? And why do so many people never realize when the judgment actually occurred? The common explanation is effort. Work harder, stay disciplined, wait your turn. Yet the pattern refuses to cooperate. Many work relentlessly and remain lightly regarded, while others exert less and move faster. Why does that gap appear so early? Before results exist, before proof is offered, it shows up in how conversations begin, how patience is granted, how interruptions are tolerated. Effort operates after attention is given. Status operates before effort is even noticed. Confuse those layers and people exhaust themselves solving the wrong problem, unaware the evaluation already happened before they began trying. Another explanation praises modesty. Keep your head down, let the work speak. It feels safe. But does it translate? This moral framing confuses inner ethics with external interpretation. Modesty does not convert cleanly into respect signals. It often reads as uncertainty, not virtue. Observers do not see intentions, they read cues. Silence can mean depth or absence. Restraint can signal control or lack. Without context, modesty becomes ambiguous, and ambiguity is rarely rewarded where decisions are compressed and consequences uneven. Speed favors clarity, not private standards others never agreed to. A third story blames money itself. Earn more and perception will follow. But does it? Reality is messier. Some with resources remain invisible, while others with little command rooms. Why? Because money amplifies signals that already exist. It does not create them. Without legibility, wealth can even raise suspicion. People trust what they can quickly place. When signals conflict, decision-makers default to caution. Status is not possession, it is predictability. Predictability reduces friction, and reduced friction determines who is invited forward, quietly, long before merit is formally considered. Competence is assumed to speak for itself, yet rooms decide before demonstrations begin. Who is granted patience? Who is interrupted? Who is allowed uncertainty without penalty? These judgments occur in seconds, long before proof arrives. If decisions precede evidence, where is merit actually measured? The game opens earlier than most admit. By the time performance appears, trajectories are already nudged. Some must earn attention, others receive it up front. When outcomes diverge later, the cause feels mysterious only because the moment of sorting passed unnoticed by nearly everyone watching closely now. Centuries ago, one observer noticed this compression of judgment across domains. Leonardo da Vinci tracked how patrons chose allies, how workshops advanced, how influence clustered before output matured. He watched selection precede proof. What was rewarded first, skill or the signals that framed skill? His insight was not artistic flair, but pattern recognition. Power moved toward those legible early. Talent followed opportunity, not the reverse. This lineage matters because the mechanism persists wherever attention is scarce and decisions must be made quickly. Is this uncomfortable to admit, even now, for many observers? The continuity is the point. Courts became corporations, patrons became committees. The logic stayed intact. Why would it change when speed still governs choice? When stakes are high, shortcuts decide. Signals substitute for stories. Those who arrive legible reduce risk for others. Those who do not create friction, however capable. Is it fair? That question misses the function. Systems optimize for predictability, not justice. Once seen, the pattern stops feeling personal and starts feeling structural, repeating wherever judgment is compressed and accountability delayed across modern institutions. People rarely question openly. The rule is simple, though rarely stated. Status precedes leverage. Before persuasion, there is permission. Before influence, there is placement. What grants that placement? Not wealth itself, but coherence of signals. Appearance, restraint, cadence, context. Read instantly as reliability. When signals align, others lean in. When they conflict, distance forms. This is the status lie, believing substance speaks first. In reality, substance is evaluated only after signals invite evaluation. Miss that sequence, and leverage never compounds, regardless of effort. Does this explain stalled trajectories you recognize around you right now here? Why does this rule exist at all? Because judgment is expensive. Time, attention, and cognitive energy are limited, especially where stakes are high. How else could decisions move quickly without shortcuts? Signals compress uncertainty. They allow others to decide without full information. Status reduces the cost of thinking. It reassures without evidence. In environments where delay is punished, certainty matters more than accuracy. Is this admirable? That is irrelevant. Systems evolve around speed, not fairness. Once signals outperform stories, they become default. The rule survives because it solves a problem most people refuse to acknowledge directly. Why does it remain invisible? Because naming it threatens comforting narratives. Who wants to admit that signals outweigh substance, or that fairness is secondary to legibility? The rule hides behind virtue language, rewarded silence, and moral stories people prefer. When outcomes disappoint, explanations shift toward effort or luck. Questioning structure feels cynical, even rude, so the mechanism stays unnamed, operating politely in the background. Is it easier to deny than confront? Invisibility persists because acknowledging it demands responsibility for signals, not just intentions, and few enjoy that burden today quietly. Who benefits from this rule operating unnoticed? Those who understand signaling before performance, those who arrive already legible, those who reduce uncertainty for others without explaining themselves. They are trusted sooner, interrupted less, forgiven faster. Is it because they are superior? Not necessarily. They simply remove friction from decision-making. While others wait to be evaluated, these individuals are already being positioned. Access compounds quietly. Opportunity follows proximity, not fairness. The rule rewards those who manage perception early and penalizes those who assume substance will eventually speak loudly enough later. It rarely does. Consider two professionals entering the same negotiation years apart. One is introduced briefly, credentials summarized, assumptions already made. The other explains context, background, intentions. Who carries momentum from the first minute? Nothing dishonest occurs. No rules are broken. Yet outcomes diverge. One conversation feels exploratory, the other feels evaluative. Why does one person answer questions while the other sets direction? The difference is not competence revealed during the meeting, it is how much certainty preceded it. When positioning happens upstream, results feel earned downstream, even when the path was quietly tilted. At this point, a question matters more than agreement. Are you watching this to collect ideas or to understand how outcomes actually form? This channel exists for those who prefer clarity over comfort, structure over noise. There is no rush here, no performance to imitate. If this way of seeing resonates quietly, without excitement, then this space is likely already familiar. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is not about updates. It is about staying near conversations that reward patience and pattern recognition. Not everyone needs that. Some recognize it immediately. Those who do not see this mechanism keep misdiagnosing resistance. They assume the issue is volume, more effort, more proof, more explanation. Why does each additional clarification seem to reduce influence instead of increasing it? Because explanation often signals uncertainty. The harder they push substance forward, the more the frame tilts against them. Meetings feel heavier, decisions slow, feedback becomes vague. Over time, frustration turns inward. Is the problem really ability, or the order in which it is presented? When signals misfire early, substance arrives late, and leverage never gains momentum. Others experience a different trajectory. They rarely explain at length. They speak less, yet their words land sooner. Why are they granted patience others must earn? Because their presence reduces ambiguity before content appears. Signals align early, so substance is received generously. Interruptions soften. Questions shift from validation to collaboration. This is not arrogance nor performance, it is sequencing. When perception is settled first, effort compounds instead of compensating. Is it surprising that outcomes diverge when one group is evaluated continuously while the other is assumed competent until proven otherwise? Systems reward whoever shortens the decision path. Centuries ago, Da Vinci noticed the same asymmetry while observing patronage and power. Who was granted time before proof? Who was dismissed before mistakes even appeared? He saw that selection favored those who reduced uncertainty early, long before output matured. The insight matters now because the structure did not disappear, it only accelerated. When recognition precedes results, leverage accumulates quietly. Is this revelation uncomfortable because it challenges moral stories we prefer, or because it explains moments when effort felt invisible? Seeing the pattern does not flatter anyone. It simply clarifies why access forms upstream of performance. Once this pattern is recognized, behavior around you shifts. Conversations sound different. Silences become informative. Why do some pauses feel confident while others feel costly? Why does the same restraint elevate one person and diminish another? The answer is not personality, but framing. Context decides interpretation. When signals align, restraint reads as control. When they do not, it reads as absence. This distinction explains why similar actions produce opposite outcomes. Is it surprising that people misjudge themselves when they ignore the frame judging them first? Awareness does not change the rule, it changes how you endure it. Modern environments intensify this effect. Decisions are faster, attention thinner, tolerance lower. Who has time to investigate fully when consequences are immediate? Signals now replace stories almost entirely. A glance, a tone, a pause carries weight once reserved for credentials. Is this shallow or simply efficient? Complaints do nothing to slow it. Systems rarely reverse under pressure, they accelerate. Those who wait to be understood are overtaken by those already placed. The result feels personal, yet it is structural. When compression increases, leverage shifts earlier, not later, and late arrivals feel increasingly invisible. This is where many stall. They sense the pattern but resist its implications. Shouldn't integrity be enough? Shouldn't quality eventually surface? These questions feel principled, yet they delay adaptation. The rule does not punish ethics. It ignores them. It rewards coherence. When people wait for recognition to follow effort, they misread sequence as morality. Outcomes then appear unfair, even random. Is frustration really about injustice or about operating with the wrong order? Systems do not respond to intention. They respond to what reduces uncertainty fastest. Everything else is evaluated later if time remains. Some respond to this realization by overcorrecting. They attempt to perform status, mistaking visibility for coherence. Why does this usually fail? Because signals must align, not shout. Excess becomes noise. Others retreat, hoping invisibility preserves integrity. That fails too. Absence is still interpreted. The system reads everything, even refusal. Is opting out actually neutral, or is it simply another signal misread as weakness? The environment does not pause while people debate participation. It continues sorting. Those who misunderstand this confuse restraint with safety and silence with control, then wonder why leverage erodes quietly. The uncomfortable truth is that no position is signal-free. Even refusal communicates something. So what separates those who endure from those who exhaust themselves? Not aggression, not compliance, but awareness of sequence. When do judgments form? What do they require to settle? Those who last understand that clarity upstream preserves energy downstream. Others spend years correcting impressions formed in seconds. Is it surprising that burnout follows? Constant explanation drains more than effort itself. Leverage is not built by insisting on fairness, but by understanding where interpretation begins and ensuring it does not begin against you unknowingly. Over time, this awareness shifts attention. Less focus goes toward proving value, more toward observing placement. Where does momentum naturally flow? Where does it stall? These patterns repeat quietly. What compounds is not output, but positioning. What erodes is effort spent correcting frames already set. People who last stop chasing validation and start managing legibility. This is not manipulation. It is endurance. Systems reward those who conserve energy by entering conversations already understood. Is that cynical or simply realistic? The difference matters less than the result. One path compounds. The other consumes itself slowly. Before moving forward, pause, not to agree or disagree, but to notice. What word best describes your internal state right now? Recognition, resistance, clarity, discomfort, something else entirely. There is no correct response, only honesty. Many feel more than they can articulate at this stage. That matters. Awareness rarely arrives cleanly. It unsettles first. If this pattern feels familiar rather than shocking, that itself is information. Leave a single word below in the comment section, not as commentary, but as acknowledgement. Seeing precedes change. Naming the moment anchors it. Then the pressure either fades or sharpens. Once awareness stabilizes, behavior changes subtly. Attention shifts away from chasing approval toward observing structure. Where are decisions actually made? Who frames outcomes before discussion begins? These questions redirect energy. People stop reacting and start positioning quietly. They notice which environments reward explanation and which penalize it. Over time, effort becomes more selective. Less is spent correcting impressions. More is spent entering contexts already aligned. Is this avoidance or precision? The difference lies in endurance. Those who last understand that clarity conserved early compounds longer than intensity expended late. What compounds silently is not confidence but consistency of signals. Repeated coherence teaches others how to read you without effort. This reduces friction over time. Requests meet less resistance. Silence becomes acceptable. Why do some people gain latitude without demanding it? Because predictability feels safe. Systems reward what feels safe. Those who misunderstand this chase visibility instead, oscillating between presence and absence. Their signals never settle. Is inconsistency interpreted as authenticity or instability? The answer is rarely charitable. Compounding requires patience with alignment, not urgency for recognition. The system remembers what it can place easily. Many confuse control with dominance. They attempt to force outcomes through assertion, yet force increases scrutiny. Why does pressure often backfire? Because it raises uncertainty. Others mistake passivity for safety, withdrawing from the frame entirely. That raises uncertainty too. The enduring position sits between these extremes. It neither demands nor disappears. It signals reliability without noise. Over time, this posture becomes assumed. Is this strategy or temperament? It matters less than effect. Systems respond to what reduces decision cost. Those who lower that cost gain leverage without requesting it. Others spend years negotiating entry repeatedly. Eventually, the pattern becomes unmistakable. Outcomes track placement more than effort. Those who accept this stop moralizing results. They observe. Where did access form? Where did it close? Why did one path accelerate while another stalled? These questions replace frustration with clarity, not relief. Clarity. Relief would invite complacency. Clarity invites restraint. The environment has not changed. The order has simply been revealed. Is this knowledge empowering or burdensome? It depends on endurance. Seeing structure removes excuses, but it also removes confusion. What remains is choice about where attention rests and what compounds quietly. Da Vinci approached systems the same way he approached craft, quietly, deliberately, without urgency. He understood that outcomes were shaped long before they were visible, not through force, but through positioning. That posture still endures. It resists spectacle. It favors preparation over performance. Why does this matter now? Because speed has increased, but structure has not disappeared. Those who learn to see early shape later results without struggle. This is not mastery, it is alignment. The work happens upstream, where fewer look and fewer compete. Those who recognize it move calmly, while others rush downstream. At this stage, understanding alone is insufficient. Insight without structure erodes, patterns fade under pressure, attention drifts. What was once clear becomes negotiable again. This is how people lose ground after gaining awareness, not through ignorance, but through lack of reinforcement. Systems require maintenance. Without it, even accurate perception decays. That is why endurance matters more than intensity. Seeing the mechanism once is not enough. The environment does not pause to accommodate clarity. It continues sorting. Those who remain deliberate preserve position. Those who drift return to reaction. The difference is not knowledge, but structure. Endurance is rarely dramatic. It looks ordinary from the outside. Small adjustments in where attention rests. Fewer reactions. More observation. Why do some people appear calm while outcomes tilt in their favor? Because they stopped fighting the sequence, they aligned with it. This is not resignation, it is discipline applied quietly. Over time, less energy is spent correcting misunderstandings. More is conserved for decisions that matter. Systems reward those who last, not those who flare briefly. Endurance compounds invisibly, until it is mistaken for luck by those who never saw the structure guiding it. Most people will never name this rule, they will feel it instead, through stalled conversations, missed invitations, delayed recognition. Is it kinder not to know? That depends. Ignorance protects comfort, awareness protects agency. This video did not offer instructions because instructions expire. Understanding does not. Once seen, the sequence cannot be unseen. That is both burden and advantage. The system will continue operating regardless. The only question is whether future moments feel confusing or familiar. One creates friction, the other creates composure. Composure is not passive. It is readiness without urgency, maintained quietly over time. Nothing here promises outcomes. No guarantee follows awareness. The environment remains competitive. Signals remain uneven. Why expect comfort when none was designed? Clarity is not consolation. It is orientation. Those who accept that stop asking for fairness and start choosing placement. This does not remove struggle, it removes surprise. Over time, surprise drains more than effort. When surprises disappear, energy stabilizes. That stability becomes leverage of its own, not because it dominates, but because it endures. The most durable advantage is not force or speed, but the ability to remain composed while others react repeatedly. This channel is not built on hype or shortcuts. It exists to study principles, decisions, and clarity. Understanding always comes first. But when insight moves from theory into real life, structure becomes necessary. Without it, even sound decisions erode over time. Why does clarity fade under pressure? Because attention disperses. I use a simple system personally to keep finances deliberate, clear, and under control. No subscriptions, no noise, no dependence. A single intentional setup designed for ownership, not convenience. It's available for those who value clarity and autonomy. The link is below. Clarity always comes first. And there you have it, Da Vinci's status. Why looking poor quietly kills your leverage. We examined how perception forms before proof, why signals decide access, and how leverage begins upstream of effort. None of this requires imitation. It requires attention. If this breakdown sharpened how you see decisions forming around you, continue with the next video. It will take you further. Support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing if this way of thinking aligns with you. Stay sharp. Stay intentional. Keep crafting your wealth the way Da Vinci crafted his work, one deliberate stroke at a time. Thank you for being here. See you.